Selma to Montgomery, where thousands of extraordinary people came together to risk their lives in protest of voting procedures in Alabama. On Sunday, March 7, 1965, a group of 600 people set out from Selma to Montgomery, but didn't get far before Alabama state troopers wielding whips, nightsticks, and tear gas rushed the group from the Edmund Pettus Bridge and beat them back to Selma. That brutal day, later known as Bloody Sunday, was captured on television, enraging many Americans and drawing civil rights and religious leaders of all faiths to Selma in protest. 2 days later, on March 9th, Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. himself led another attempt but turned the marchers around when the state troopers again blocked the road. Finally, on March 21st, some 2,000 protesters who were protected by the U.S. National Guard set out for Montgomery. Walking some 12 hours a day and sleeping in fields along the way, they reached Montgomery on March 25th. By the time the marchers reached Montgomery, over 25,000 supporters, black and white, arrived at the steps of the state capitol in Montgomery, Alabama. This historic march led the paramount of victory that forced Congress to enact the Voting Rights of 1965, which guaranteed the right to vote to all African Americans.
5 decades, 50 years.
Only 50 years ago.
The year, 1965. The place.
Selma, Alabama.
The destination. Montgomery, Alabama. How long?
5 days.
How long? 54 miles.
54 miles. 54 miles from Selma to Montgomery, Alabama.
And for what? Voting rights for African Americans and to put an end to segregation and the Jim Crow laws that plague the South.
Singing and marching.
Marching and singing. Singing songs of faith and determination.
Woke up this morning with my mind stayed on freedom. Woke up this morning with my mind stayed on freedom. Woke up this morning with my mind stayed on freedom. Hallelujah, hallelujah, hallelujah.
John Lewis woke up. Annie Lee Cooper woke up.
Andrew Young woke up.
Ralph Abernathy woke up. Reverend C.T. Vivian woke up.
Amelia Boynton woke up.
James Reed woke up. Viola Gregg Luizo woke up.
James Bevel woke up.
Reverend Hosea Williams woke up. The Reverend Dr. Martin Luther King woke up that morning with his mind stayed on freedom. The world watched. The world watched as men, women, children, teenagers, clergy, teachers, students, both black and white,
their faces burned from the outpourings of the sweltering sun,
drenched by the rains, sleeping in the mud, bodies tired,
feet sore,
protesters and activists walking on meandering highways, resting their bodies on rocky byways. They marched across that bridge,
Edmund Pettus Bridge,
only to be tear gassed, beaten back, shot back. But they didn't give up.
And don't you give up.
They were told they wouldn't get there. Yes, and there were those who said that they would get there only over their dead bodies.
But the world saw that they weren't going to let nobody turn them around. Ain't gonna let nobody turn me around, turn me around, turn me around. The world watched.
Watched as protesters from around the world joined together in the march for the common good.
The world watched.
Watched the confrontation of good and evil impressed in the tiny community of Selma and generated the massive power to turn the whole nation to a new course.
The world watched.
The world watched.
The world watched as over 25,000 strong ended up at the steps of the Alabama State Capitol in Montgomery.
The world watched.
Watched as they marched.
Watched as they marched, a bloody march.
A march 50 years ago that teaches us to march today.
To march for liberty and justice for all.
So let us continue our march.
Let us march. March against the prejudices within our justice system to end racially motivated harassment by law enforcement. Let us march. March against inequality within our education system until every trace of inferior education becomes a thing of the past.
Let
us march.
March for affordable health care for every citizen, so our elders won't have to skip a meal so that they can buy the medicine they need.
Let us march.
March against institutionalized policies that continue to promote the stereotyping and profiling of young black men in America.
50 years ago,
5 days.
54 miles.
over 25,000 protesters.
They marched.
They marched and made a difference.
They marched,
And changed history.
facing the rising sun of our new day begun. Let us keep marching till victory is won.